In this video, we're going to review the new integration between Nerdio Manager for WVD, starting with version 2.10 and GitHub Repositories. So in the past, scripted actions that were provided as part of Nerdio Manager were built into the application itself and were updated whenever a new release of Nerdio Manager came out. Starting with version 2.10, we now have an integration with our public GitHub repository that is constantly getting new versions of scripted actions, updates, and enhancements that are automatically downloaded and integrated with our customers' Nerdio Manager for WVD installations. In addition to integrating with Nerdio's own GitHub repository, it is also possible to integrate and connect to your own GitHub repository and be able to take advantage of all of the features that GitHub provides, versioning and branching and working in collaboration with teams, and having all of those changes automatically synchronized into the Nerdio Manager from GitHub. So let's take a look at how this functionality works. So we'll start out on the settings and integrations page, and we'll notice that there is now a new tile called GitHub Repositories that really explains and allows you to configure everything that we're going to talk about. So the first thing you'll notice is that there's going to be one repository that will be linked by default in your installation called the Get Nerdio repository. And there's going to be a repository called NMW for Nerdio Manager for WVD. And it is going to be automatically connected and linked to your install. If for whatever reason you do not want to have the Nerdio standard repository linked and you do not want to see Nerdio provided scripts, you can simply unlink it, and that is going to remove any scripts that you may have synchronized with the Nerdio GitHub repository. Now let's take a look at the process of linking a new repository. So I'm logged into GitHub right here, and I've created a private repository called NMW demo. And I'm now going to go ahead and create and link that repository into Nerdio Manager for WVD, this demo install that I have up on the screen. So here's how that works. It's pretty straightforward. We're going to click on Link Repository. We're going to specify our GitHub account right here. And remember, the format is github.com/account name/repository name. So if we see right here, my account name is my first initial last name. So we're going to put that in. And then my repository name is just the name of the repository that I've created. Now, if I am linking to a private repository, I must specify an access token. And this access token can be created in GitHub. And there is a link under the tooltip explaining how to go about creating a personal token. And when you create a token, you can either paste it right into this field and it will create a token for you, or you can pre-create a token up here or down here under the GitHub repository style by adding a token. And I've already created one. So I'm going to go ahead and select my token because it's a private repository. It's not public. A token is required to access it. The next thing we specify is the path, the branch, the file extensions, and the type of execution environment that it is, and whether or not we want to include subfolders. We're going to do this very basic linking, and we are going to link to the main branch and the uppermost level folder here. So we're just going to put a slash right here. We are going to select our main branch. We're going to select PS1 as the file extensions, and we can add additional extensions or additional branches. We're going to say that the scripts inside of this specific folder are Windows scripts, and we're going to choose that we want to include subfolders when synchronizing the data. If we wanted to just synchronize a specific folder, we would uncheck this box, and then it would not recursively include the subfolders. And if we had multiple folders, we could simply add additional folders, different file extensions, branches, different types of execution environment for our scripts. If we wanted to remove them, we simply click the X. And then we have the option to auto synchronize the contents or synchronize them manually. So let's go ahead and enable automatic synchronization, click OK. And now we've just linked a new repository that you can see down here. And if we scroll down, it's going to show me that the linking process just completed and it went ahead and synchronized the scripted actions that were found in that in that particular repository. So let's go ahead and click on details and we can see what exactly was synchronized. It looks like there's a script in there called send logs to events hub. Let's go ahead and open up this repository and here's a file. Let's go ahead and create a new file. Call it testsa.ps1. And we're going to just type something here, test code. And once we're done, we're going to commit new changes. And then now we have two files. So let's go back to Nerdio Manager. Let's click on Windows Scripts. And let's go ahead and filter by source because we have this new repository that we just synced up. So let's go ahead and select this repository. And you can see here's my GitHub repository, account repository, and the synced script that you saw on the previous screen. If you click on it, you cannot make changes because it's a read-only environment. It's syncing from the GitHub environment here, but you can change the type of script that it is. We've specified this. You'll recall that it was a Windows script, but if we want to change it to an Azure Runbook, if it happens to be an Azure Runbook, then we can do it from right here. Let's do two things. Let's go ahead and edit this script. So, for example, let's go ahead and edit it right there. Let's add second script line and commit our changes. And now let's go back to the integrations page and hit the synchronize button. And what this will do is it will synchronize with the repository. And this does so automatically once an hour, but let's go ahead and force it. And it should pick up two changes. It should pick up the new file that we created called test.sa, and it should change the contents of the file that was already there and make it available in our scripted actions here. So let's take a look. There we go. Completed synchronizing. Click on details, and you can see it created a new scripted action, and it picked up changes to the existing one. So let's double check. Let's go to Windows Scripts. Let's filter by our new repository. Here's our second runbook, or I'm sorry, second script right there. And here's the first one with the change that we applied. So again, very powerful. You can make changes to GitHub on the back end and have those changes automatically synchronized into your Nerdio Manager environment. So if you are running these scripts as part of VM creation on any of the available triggers on the schedule, you can make changes to those scripts directly in GitHub without changing anything at all in Nerdio Manager. And those changes will be automatically picked up from the Nerdio Manager synchronization process. Now, a couple of things that I'd like to point out, and that is if you were to delete a script from the repository, let's go ahead and do that. Let's delete this new test.sa file that we created. So let's click on delete, commit our changes. Now we're back to one file. Let's go ahead and resynchronize. So hit this button right there, click OK, wait for it to complete. What we'll notice is that even though the script was deleted from GitHub, it is still going to be visible inside of Nerdio Manager. This is really to protect any configurations that may be using a script that get accidentally deleted or moved within GitHub. It goes into kind of an orphan state. So you can see here, we have two scripts. We still have our previously available script that's perfectly well synced. And then we have a new, that new script that we just deleted that is no longer found in the source repository. So now the script becomes kind of orphan, and you can still use it, or you can delete it right from within Nerdio Manager. So if we wanted to delete the script, we would simply go here, click OK, and that script will be gone from this environment. Okay, once that script is gone, we can go back into integrations. And one other thing I want to show you is the ability to unlink the existing repository. Once unlinking the repository, what it will do is it will verify if any of the scripts inside the repository are currently being used. If they are, it's going to warn you and tell you where they are being used and give you the option to force the removal. So for instance, we have this one script here called send logs to Event Hub. Let's go ahead and attach it to a host pool. So let's go to this host pool right here, go to VM deployment, say VM created, and run our repository script right there. Click OK. So now this script is being used in the configuration of this host pool. So if we go back to integrations and we try to unlink this repository, it's going to warn us that it is currently being utilized. So what we can do is we cannot remove it without enforcing the removal of that script from that configuration. So once I click OK, that script will be gone. The repository will no longer be linked. And if we go back to Windows scripts, we will see that that source and those scripts are now gone. So lots more that can be done with GitHub integrations, but this is just an overview of what's possible. You can edit or unlink the default repository that's available. You can link your own. You can create new scripts. You can modify existing ones and take advantage of the power of GitHub now with Nerdio Manager for WVD. Hope you found this useful, and I look forward to seeing you in future videos.